So I just finished filming the intro to the series of my like Project Pan 101 tips and tricks for project panning, and I definitely was rambling a little bit, but hopefully if you haven't watched it yet, go ahead and give it a watch, and hopefully you get to a few things out of it. So I have a list here of things I want to talk about for this video. This video is going to be focused on different types of project pans, different ways to approach project panning, and like actually get it done in some ways. I think that the project panning community is awesome in terms of where it's like there's this like bigger goal that a lot of people are trying to achieve, but there's just so many different ways to achieve it, and kind of having different types of project panning challenges is, I don't know if what's the right word. I guess like a challenge would probably actually be the right word, to kind of make it a reality. I think that there's a lot of things in life where if you gamify it, then or if you give yourself a challenge and you get it done, right? Kind of like New Year's resolutions, or like I'm trying to think of another example, but like even like school and stuff like that, where you like kind of create some structure. It helps a lot rather than just kind of nebulous like get things done, even for work and stuff like that, right? Like I don't know if anyone uses like I think it's called the Pomodoro timer, to kind of get yourself focused, or even I'm sure for some works you just have like a project timeline and you just try to meet those markers. And so I think having that structure is super helpful. So there's a few different ways of project panning. If you dig way back into the history of project panning from like a decade and a half ago, it really started from, I'm going to call out Amber F, because she is like the queen of project panning. I think she's still kicking around and in the community. I know some of the OG project panners have now probably like met their goals, and now they're living their best life and haven't been posting as much. At least that's what I would like to think. But the OG Project 10 pan actually, I believe, was the concept of where you choose 10 items and you're not allowed to buy anything until you finish those 10 items. Nowadays, Project Pan is much more of a spectrum. It can mean a lot of things. There's now very popular is a year-based project plan. So like 25 in 2025, people choose 25 products and give updates throughout the year. I'm talking a lot about like what I see here on YouTube in particular. And you don't have to post on YouTube, but I see content creators posting updates on the 25 in 2025, where they're they call out 25 products at the beginning of the year, and then they show the progress on those 25 items. Also something called a rolling project pan. So some people will do 5 products, 7 products, 10 products, whatever feels right for you, in terms of like focus items that you're really wanting to focus on for a certain season. And then as you meet goals, because it could be usage goals, it could be just time goals, it could be a visual goal like hit pan or meet some sort of marker, where then you roll that product out of the project and you bring in a new project in. So you're always having X number of products in your project pan. And I think sometimes people at the end of the year will just update on like I finished this many, or like I met this many goals on so many products, that kind of idea. I've also been seeing project X uses, project 5 uses, project 10 uses, project 20 uses, where they collect a number of items and then just aim to hit that number of uses on the project. That's another way to approach project pan. The more not so structured ones might be like a makeup basket, where you're just like kind of collecting and collating kind of a number of products for a whole face, and you just kind of work on those for the week, for the month, or until whatever goal you might have for yourself. Now to the more let me see, I'm trying to run through my list here. I wrote down a lot of different types of project pans. There's also like, I guess I'm getting into the more themed project pans, where it can be types of products, right? It could be a lipstick project pan. It could be a face product only project pan, skincare project pan. You also have cream project pan. That was a really popular one. I actually participated in it as well. Partners in Cream was a really popular one. Then you have the other themed project pans. You got seasonal ones, right? People are doing, I think one that just finished up was 5 by 4th of July, or was it 4 by 4th of July? I don't know. I saw a few people doing it. That one always looks fun. There's also like a graveyard project pan, which is themed around like the Halloween kind of theme. There's also like ones by Christmas. I can't remember, it's like yeah, I can't remember what the number is. It's like a number by Christmas, or a number by, you know, by fall or by spring or whatever. So it's pretty cool. I think those are really, really great for like short-term goals, and those can also be super fun to you know, participate in. I've also seen ones around people's certain interests, around like gemstones or around colors. That one's a really cool one, I think, always to watch. I think right now the theme is black, and it's like any, if the product has any black in it, it could be the color black, it could be the packaging is black, and the name is black. You can just include it. I think they've been brown recently. I think I might have seen yellow or red or something like that. So that's always really cool. And I want to specifically call out some of these projects that I'm going to name is actually part of a Facebook group, and their initiative to kind of come up with these theme projects is called Fantastics. I can never say it right. Fantastics. Is it Fantastic? Fantastic Ladies Collab. And they're on Facebook, and I'll do my best to link them down below. But definitely look them up, join the community, definitely see what they're up to. They have all sorts of stuff going on, which is so cool. When they like do voting, like they have like a whole Pan That Palette kind of initiative that they also do and vote on as well. That's always really cool. I already mentioned some project pans are around different events or our holidays, you know, Christmas, New Year's. I've mentioned 4th of July. I even did one, I actually hosted one around the Olympics that happened last year. So stuff like that I think is always really cool. Certain interests, I saw a Disney one going around. I saw a music themed one, which is really cool. I saw a decades themed one, which a lot of them are actually hosted by my friend Sam from First Time Panner. She does an awesome job with hosting. I think it's the 20, maybe she only hosts one of them. I think some other people host the other ones. But I think she did the 2010s, I believe, or 2000s. No, 2000s. Sorry, I'm a little off with mine, but those are always really cool and nostalgic too. And then some of them are just by brand. You know, you can be like, I need to pan those, you know, drugstore items, you know, insert drugstore brand name here, or prestige or whatever, right? So I think that's always really cool. So there's honestly a theme project pan if you're interested in one for everybody. I have my own thoughts about theme project pans at this point because I've done a few, and I can't say that they've been a huge success for me, but I feel like they've been a huge success for everyone else. So I definitely wanted to try, and it just, for my panning goals and the way I pan things, it just didn't quite work out. But it's always so fun to watch people do those. There are also project pan games. The most OG one and the most popular one is Deck of Panning. It involves a deck of cards, and it correlates with like a game board that's on like a Google spreadsheet, and each card correlates with a prompt there. And that's hosted by Emily from Emily and Max, who actually took that game from another, not took, who got permission to modify a booktuber game that kind of had a similar premise, and so that's been super fun to watch. That's actually one of the main reasons I joined YouTube to update on my progress with the project pan, and continues to be one of my favorite ones to watch to this day. There's a very scary, if you will, Joker prompt, and I've gotten that a few times. Yeah, that one's always a jump scare. I've actually created a project pan game myself called Project Panopoly, which is around the Monopoly game. It doesn't follow all the rules and whatnot, but it has the game board, and I started that about a year ago actually, and so that's been super fun to host and super fun to see other people get involved. So yeah, there's different ways to definitely like gamify your project panning experience. Then the last few things here is kind of outliers, I think, in the project pan game, but I think people do it regularly. Things like monthly empties, like, so things that people have, and just kind of that additional accountability of being like, these are things I finished, and sometimes they even tack on the things that they brought into their collection too. And then there's also people who do makeup rehab, which I think is a really interesting concept, and I have not personally, I did a little bit of it, but it didn't quite look the same, I think. So makeup rehab, I talked about makeup rehab in terms of like the makeup subreddit that is on Reddit. Makeup rehab also is connected to, at least, or some people call it makeup rehab, is like using up a dollar amount of makeup in a certain time frame, often a year. So some people I've seen have like a $5,000 goal, or like a $3,000 goal, like a $1,000 goal. And so they kind of are almost sharing how much value of their products they're using, not just the number. And I think that's a really, really interesting part of project planning too, is understanding the value of your makeup, or like the dollar amount, as well as like the value to you. So that's always really, really interesting to watch, and to see like how close are people to their goals and everything like that. So I would definitely recommend looking that up and seeing where people are at. I think people might have other names for it too. I think it was also called reverse rouge, especially on the makeup rehab subreddit. I think that is still a thing that's going on, reverse rouge. And so I don't know if that term is often used in YouTube, so I don't know if many people recognize that. But when I was on the subreddit, reverse rouge was a very popular game, and I don't think it's quite as public anymore, but it's still going on, I think, for some people. Okay, so that is another way that some people are tracking their uses and involving themselves in project plans. And then beauty banks. This is one that I've fallen off the wagon with a little bit, but some people are very, very diligent with this. It's kind of similar to the whole like putting value on your beauty products, and like, you know, adding up the value of the different products that you use. I think that this is more of a way to incentivize people to, if they really want to be purchasing stuff out of their project planning experience, to incentivize them to use things up before they purchase things. So sometimes it's a point system where it's like 2 out, 1 in. So referring to 2 products have to leave the collection before 1 can come in. Some of them is bigger, 5 out, 1 in. It can be specific to a category. So like 2 lipsticks out before 1 lipstick can come in. For me, I did it by value amount. So it was like I used up X amount of dollars, and I can spend X amount of dollars to a certain extent. I had a lot more complicated rules to my beauty bank, so I can't say that my beauty bank looks like anybody else's, but that was kind of the main premise, is like you have to first use up stuff before you can bring stuff in, and to incentivize that, and to also like cap how much you're allowed to bring in too. So I think that's also been a very, very good way of helping people kind of gauge like what are they allowed to bring in and out of their collection, which I think is really, really cool. So yeah, I think that was my main lowdown of all the different project plans. I think I definitely missed a ton out there, but I think that's kind of my main understanding of the different types of project plans that are out there. As you can see, there's a lot of them, and I definitely don't do all of them. And I've seen some people try doing a lot of them, and I feel like at some point they end up saying that was a lot. So I think just be careful with the number of project plans that you really throw yourself into. I think some people get super excited. I was one of those people, and I just had to kind of slowly like weed them out and find the ones that really, really work for me and actually help me in my project planning journey, rather than just kind of feeling like, oh, I have to update this, or like I have to do this. But yeah, so I would say definitely start simple. Start with something that you're excited with. And you know, I think especially, I would say another word of caution too is like make sure that you are picking kind of like a variety of products that you're willing to work on. Like some of them that might be harder goals, some of them that might be easy goals. You maybe not all makeup, maybe you throw in some skincare or some hair care or something like that. I think just to like mix it up and make sure that you, that you don't get super burnt out. Because sometimes, like, I know I'm guilty of this. Like I will keep putting in like lip gloss or something. I will keep putting in like an eyeshadow. And then by the time I'm looking at everything I'm trying to pan, it's like I'm trying to pan 5 different eyeshadows, or I'm trying to finish 3 different lip glosses. And to do that within a certain time frame, you know, especially by the next update where you feel very pressured to finish stuff by the next update, it's like, this is tough. So definitely spread it out. I feel like no one should be judging you on the products you pick. No one should be judging you on what you choose to include or not include. I really feel like the project planning community is supposed to be as judgment-free as possible. And I hope that you feel that way as you get involved as well. But yeah, I think that it's supposed to be fun at the end of the day. And I hope that you really find a project that you are excited about and that you want to get involved with. I think definitely be, at the very least, you know, watching some of the projects that you're interested in, maybe even commenting and engaging. And I think that helps a lot in terms of helping to, you know, just be part of the community, and you know, really sharing that you're in this journey too, and encouraging other people. I think that's always the really cool part about our community, is that we're just here to hype each other up, and we're just here to encourage each other. And if you have a dull month, that's totally fine. It happens to all of us. And the main thing is that any progress is some progress, even just one use. And so it's always exciting, even just to report on, like, I used it once and got to know a little bit more about the product. And, like, you know, with that kind of practice, you kind of figure out, is this something I really want to use up? Is this something I want to declutter? Is this something that I need to change up to make it work? Yeah, it's just, I think it's just a really fun process to watch everybody kind of learn about their products through some of these project panning games and project pan challenges, I guess. So all that to say, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that this video at least gave you some ideas maybe, or you know, if you have already been actively panning, that this kind of has a good summary of things that you've been doing. And please comment below if there's like other project pan challenges that I've missed, because I know definitely know I missed a lot. I did my best to kind of do a summary of a little bit of everything, but I know that I think ultimately it's the challenge. It's the challenge of finding fun ways to project pan and to finish up the things that we have. And I feel like definitely I encourage you to think outside the box. Like, you know, introduce your own way and method of doing things. I think I was personally very, very challenged to do that. I'm definitely someone who likes to sometimes think a little bit outside of the box and think of different ways to approach these types of challenges. But ultimately, I've been able to use up my products and been able to get to know my collection a lot better. And I think all that is a win. So good luck with your project panning journey, and I will see you in my next video.